Hey guys, welcome back to the Devcast. And today I'm joined by the wonderful Barji. Do you want to
Hello.
introduce yourself a little bit? See, for people that don't know you.
Uh, yeah. Okay. My name's Barji or Jack. I make indie games and make videos on them on my YouTube channel.
So, I mean, the first question I have is sort of what got you. This is a question I ask to everyone, but like, what got you into game dev at the beginning?
I actually have a very interesting story for this one. So you'll probably be familiar with Fortnite.
Oh god, yeah.
All right, here you go. So back in like 2018, all I did: get home from school, play Fortnite, go to sleep, go to school, get home, play Fortnite. That's all I did, right?
Obsessed with
I was
Fortnite.
addicted to that game. And it got to like Christmas of 2018. And I'm there like, right, I've just got some money for Christmas. Time to buy some Fortnite skins, right? I promise you we get there. This story will get there. So, I buy the skins.
Right.
And I'm filled with like an instant regret for some reason, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, why would I do that? Why did I buy those skins? They are completely pointless. And I had like an epiphany. I self-reflected, and I was like, I need to start doing something. I need to get a hobby that isn't just playing video games. So, pretty much that day, with some of the leftover money, I bought a Udemy course by Blackthorn Prod
Mm.
on like 2D game development, and I did it in like 3 days, but I had no idea what was going on. And yeah, but I ended up sticking through with it, and that's pretty much how it started.
Fair enough. What was like what was like the first do you remember what like the first kind of project you like did was when you after the
Yeah.
Udemy course?
So, well, I did the Udemy course and made a little game called Knife Storm. It's actually on my itch.io still.
Yeah.
But then after that, um, what was the next thing? I think it was Chicken Slapper. Basically, uh, you're British, you'll probably heard of this, but there's like a myth that if you slap a chicken a certain amount of times, it cooks it, right? I
Right,
thought
yeah.
that's the perfect idea for a clicker game. So I started working on a clicker game, and it was like I'd set up like a basic button and like a score thing going up, and it
Mm.
must have been like 30 scripts already. I don't know how I did it, but it was terrible, and it became unmanageable way too quick.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was it pretty much. Chicken slap.
Cuz yeah, I mean my sort of my first projects were like that, like, oh, let me make something and then not know how to manage any of it and not
Oh yeah,
understand how programming works and just kind
we've
of
all been there.
yeah, and you just make some like like some fucking monstrosity.
Definitely.
Just like what is this?
Yeah.
But yeah, what like what ended up like taking you down the route of YouTube though? Because obviously you got game dev and Fortnite and everything, but like, what made you sort of decide I'm gonna make videos on this and show people what I've
Um,
done?
bit of an exclusive here. Yeah. So I've always done like YouTube stuff, even when I was younger.
Mm.
Because obviously being the generation that did grow up watching it,
Yeah,
it's
everyone has
yeah, it's
the
yeah,
YouTube channel.
exactly.
Yeah,
Everyone's tried to make one at some point.
yeah.
Yeah, it started off just like terrible Minecraft videos, and
Oh
then
my god, yeah.
moving on. And then I made some other videos. I actually had a channel that got to like 1,000 subscribers
Oh,
a
fair
few
enough.
years ago. And I don't know how it got there. It was basically I just posted like gaming videos,
Yeah.
but it was like 1,000 subscribers, but nobody watched. It was kind of weird.
Oh right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know. I did have another YouTube channel for game development originally where I made tutorials, but
Mm.
considering I didn't know anything at the time, it was a bit silly for me to be making tutorials, so I stopped
Yeah.
doing that.
Teaching
Um,
people whilst you're learning.
yeah, exactly. Like I still don't know why I did that to this day. But yeah, last year in sort of May time, I think,
Mm.
I just thought, you know what, why not?
Fair
I've been
enough.
watching a lot of like devloggers and stuff. And
Yeah.
at that time it was very small compared to now. Like there was like Danny wasn't around. Danny hadn't
Mm.
blown up yet. It was like the big guys were Brackies, Blackthorn Prod, and kind of like Jonas Tyroller, I think. People
Yeah.
like DevDuck, they only came around like mid 2020,
Yeah.
as far as I remember. So it was kind of small back then, but seeing how much it's grown in the last year alone is just insane.
Yeah. No, it's been like, because I remember when I was younger, like, when I was like looking into getting into game dev, when I started college, like, like you said, there was only brackies and stuff, and it's just like exploded over this like lockdown and everything. It's like you see
Oh
like
yeah,
so many more channels doing like so many more like cool projects and stuff, and it's really like it is like probably like the best time to kind of, if you
oh
were gonna get
100%.
into it, because it's
Yeah.
just it's just getting like bigger and bigger. But like,
Oh yeah, 100%. There's
yeah,
been like waves of people kind of come in. You've got like your OGs, Blackthorn Proud, Brackies, those type of guys,
yeah,
Psycho, and then moving on, you got like the Dannys and the Sam Hogans. It's like
yeah,
every few months, like a new wave of people just sort of
appear
getting
and blow
subscribers.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was gonna be my next question. Is like, because you've blown up like pretty big like recently, sort of like quite quickly. But like, was there something that sort of sparked that? Like, was there like one video that got like really big or something that sort of
Yeah.
started bringing
So
people in?
in like November last year. So well, originally the only reason I even got like any subscribers whatsoever is I was sitting at around 200, 300 subs,
Yeah.
and then me and Polymars did a collab together.
Mm.
And the time when we started this collab, it was for the Brackies Game Jam, and day one of the Brackies Game Jam, he was on like 1,000 subscribers,
Yeah.
and by the end of the week, he was on like 30K. So
Jesus.
when we
Wow.
started that Game Jam, he blew up like,
Yeah.
huge, and so when his video came out, I ended up getting like a boost of subscribers from that.
Yeah,
I ended
yeah.
up getting to about 1,000 from that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like the initial boost. But then in November, I released a video about making a game in C++.
Yeah.
And
I
originally,
saw that.
yeah, so originally that video didn't do very well at all. It was just sort of sitting there getting like 1 to 2 views a day.
Yeah.
And things were pretty stagnant. And then in February this year, it just started to get like, I don't know, 1 to 200 views a day, completely out of nowhere. And when I went back and looked at it, so the tags in the video, I'd had like 3 tags that were number 1 when you search for it. So C++ game, if you search for that on YouTube, my video is the first one that comes up. So having that tag, I was getting like 200 people who were just searching every day and found my
Yeah.
video. It wasn't from like recommendations or anything.
Yeah.
And obviously because people are searching for it, the algorithm's like, oh, hang on, we should probably start recommending this.
Just to other people.
So-
yeah.
There was a point sort of mid-April where the video blew up to getting like 10,000 views a day.
Mm.
And now it's dropped back down to like 2K or something a day. But that video alone sort of like drip fed views to the rest of my channel.
Yeah.
And that's where I got like the other 7,000 subscribers from, pretty much that video.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how does it sort of like, obviously it probably feels like great to have like that many people watching, but like, how does it feel like in the way of like, do you get like kind of stressed about like, oh, I got to make sure I'm putting out like good content for everyone like constantly, and sort of like going from that sort of small to like much bigger, like how does that kind of like affect you mentally?
There's definitely more pressure, but it's not like, it doesn't feel that much different to if I had 100 subs, because like I'd still be making videos and trying to improve regardless.
Yeah.
But it's like there's a few videos I have released in the past, even recently, where the video hasn't necessarily been the best, and I've kind of thought, oh, I need to up my game a bit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to balance bringing out videos regularly and bringing out good videos. Especially with the type of stuff I make. I try and do like longer challenges or just like abstract challenges that are just difficult, basically.
Yeah.
So to make one of those videos every week is just impossible.
Yeah.
But there's been times where I've not uploaded in like 2 months, so I felt the pressure to upload, and then the video hasn't come out very well.
Yeah.
An example of that is my clicker game video that came out recently. I'm really not the most proud of that video. It's all right, but I don't think there's a major difference in sort of the pressure to bring out content. It's more finding the balance between good
Content
content and
quality.
regular content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Because like that's something I noticed. Like looking when you look in comment sections and things, and like people are like, "Oh, when's the next video? When's the next video?" and stuff because they've been gone for like a month or something, and it's like game dev does take a while.
Yeah,
Like to
it's
try
not
and
like
put something together.
yeah, it's like not only do you have to make a good video, but you also have to make the thing for the video,
Yeah.
like the game or whatever.
Yeah, it's not like a gameplay video where you can sit down, play a game for like an hour in a day
Oh
or
yeah,
something, and then just like
100%.
pump it out. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
there's definitely channels that do that where they bring out like good videos like often. But it's like it's very hard to do that if you're like a devlogger, for example.
yeah,
Got to have a week. If you're bringing out weekly devlogs, you've got to have done a lot in that week.
yeah,
Or if you're doing like challenge videos, you're gonna have to have done the challenge in that week. It's not really viable. There's definitely certain
No.
types of content that it works for in game dev, but yeah, it's not the most compatible thing in the world.
yeah. I mean, I used to do on my channel. I used to do devlogs, and like I think I did like 3 devlogs, and I was bringing them out every week because I was like, I need to upload regularly to like try and grow and stuff. But like, it's really just doesn't work.
Yeah,
I
it
completely burnt
definitely
myself
doesn't.
out and just like gave up.
So yeah,
But like,
um,
yeah, it's not a good idea. So for any of you wanting to make a devlog channel, don't try and pump it out
Oh,
weekly
yeah.
unless
I wouldn't even recommend
Unless
having
you're
a schedule
really
at all,
devoted.
to be honest.
yeah,
Just
no,
upload the
do it
videos when you've got
when you've done
stuff to upload.
Yeah,
It's not worth
Yeah, 'cause-
bringing out less content just because you have to.
yeah. I mean, something I was talking to Gugus about was about how like people recognize when you've put sort of the time and effort into it, and like into like
Oh, yeah.
your videos or like your game and stuff. So like people don't you got to like try and get out of your head that like some people will be like, oh, I gotta they're not good YouTuber because their videos take a month to come out or something like that. But it's like they'll realize like when you bring out your videos, like they're good videos. It's like, I mean, it's like Danny, like he brought out that muck video, and like that's blown up massive, even though he hasn't like uploaded in like
Yeah.
ages. People know that he puts like really good quality like content out and stuff, so they don't care.
Yeah, Danny is like
sort
the
of thing.
perfect example of sort of he has like a really good relationship with his audience, but at the same time
Yeah,
he's got that sort of those sort of challenge videos coming out, right? Because that's a very hard thing to do. Because if you're bringing
Yeah.
out weekly videos, then it's really easy to have a good relationship with your audience because, you know, they're actively getting content, they're giving you feedback, you can respond to them, whatever. And yeah, Danny does both of those things, which is just insane. But yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
feel like there's a sort of divide between those two things.
yeah. Talking about Danny, how how did you get into like knowing him and like sort of naming his game Muck?
Oh god.
I feel like some people are gonna. I saw on your stream the other day, everyone was asking. So
Yeah, I've had
I
this
thought,
question a
why
couple
not ask?
times.
Yeah,
So basically, he made a video a while ago called, it was basically a Fall Guys recreation, and through like some mutual friends, I managed to be able to play test the game or whatever.
yeah,
And so that was kind of the initial thing, but we didn't really speak much. I was just kind of there playing the game or whatever, and it was like, holy shit, it's Danny. But then the Among Us 3D, I did some testing for that. That was quite fun. But once again, it was kind of just playing the game really and giving feedback. But then fast forward to Muck, or as it was called then, Island.
yeah,
We started doing some testing on that, and that was more of a game where it went on for such a long time that I got to know like sort of all the playtesters and stuff a little bit better.
yeah,
And yeah, I don't know. He basically just asked us all, like, does anyone have any good names for the game? And I recently, basically, my dad is going on like a trip up to Scotland, and I remember seeing something on the map called Muck, and it made me laugh. So I was like, that is a sick name for a game. So I gave him that, and he was
Yeah.
like, at first he was like, I can't call the game muck, and I was like, no, of course you can. Of course you can call it muck. And yeah, he did.
I mean, everyone loves it, so
Oh,
I think it was
the amount of
the right name choice.
he gave me like a role on his Discord server, and the amount of DMs I keep getting just saying the word muck is insane.
Yeah, I mean, I like just like everywhere like you go and there's like just muck
Oh,
and
yeah.
like I think what was it? I think Ikoso was doing he was doing a premiere yesterday of his new video, and he left for like 2 minutes and came back and all of the comments were just muck
Yeah, it's
muck,
insane.
and it's like Jesus.
The funny thing is
But
though,
yeah.
we actually kind of knew that was going to happen. Like, so when we recorded the little skit for the video, the one where we just start chanting muck, I said to him like, bro,
Yeah.
this is you do realize how much of a meme this is going to become. And he was like, oh yeah, 100%. So he had the idea that we were going to just review the game with the word muck and try and get every single
Yeah.
review to be muck. And I was like, nah, bro, I'm telling you, the comment section is just going to be muck. I don't know if you remember,
Yeah,
but there was,
everything is muck.
there was a thing going around on YouTube recently where it was like, I think it was a Jay Schlatt quote where it was like, this is truly disgusting or something. And like every
Yeah,
comment
yeah.
was that. And I was like, bro, it's going to be like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, it ended up being like that.
Yeah, it is like everywhere you go, there's at least one comment.
Oh, 100%.
That's like
it's
muck.
insane.
It's like, why? Nah, but yeah. So what would be like? So obviously you've got like you're doing all your YouTube stuff, but like, what's your sort of plan for like the future with sort of all that stuff? Is it like keep doing YouTube for like as long as you can, or is it like sort of branch out and try and like make like some bigger games, or like what's kind of your like future plan?
Yeah, so that's something I'm kind of in the middle of at the moment. So obviously YouTube isn't something that's very viable, you know. Either
Yeah.
I'm never going to get to the point where it's like a career, or I do get there but it's not going to last forever, right? That it's not like a secure thing. But either way, I definitely want to, after this, work on actual games.
Yeah.
But I don't particularly want to work on like, I wouldn't want to work for like Valve or something, because
Yeah.
like for me, I obviously mainly do programming, but I'd much rather have a job in design than programming. Like I'd much rather make my own stuff. Programming is kind of just a
Yeah,
tool to
that's
help
fair.
with that. So if I want to potentially branch out and make my own games, but it's just making the sort of stars align.
Yeah.
I have some plans to set up a little company, maybe get some games going, but I don't know. In terms of YouTube, the sort of stuff that I want to move on to doing is I just want to make tons of little games, right? This is kind of like my plan
Yeah.
going forward. Is I did a video
Yeah.
where I made like a game in 30 days, right, and then released it,
Mm.
and that was one of my favorite videos to make. Like I really enjoyed the whole process. I learned so much about game development, so much about YouTube, so much about editing, everything. And
Yeah.
so I want to move forward and try and do basically more of those videos where I just create a full game, whether it take a month or whether it take 2 weeks, whatever. I just want to keep doing that and try and build up the skills.
Yeah.
So if I do eventually end up creating my own games, I just don't feel like I'm in a position yet where I can create a commercial game. Like it's just everything will fall apart halfway through. You know, there's so much more stuff I need to learn.
No, yeah, that's
So, yeah.
fair. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of like I'm in the same kind of wanting to make games, but not being ready and like able to make like a big project, and so it's just kind of trying to do those small things.
Yeah.
But like I'm approaching my YouTube as like use the YouTube to sort of build an audience, make friends like in sort of the game dev world, and kind of like learn things along the way. And like I'm working on a video at the moment, which is I'm making like a multiplayer sort of asymmetrical horror game in like a week, because I just want to try and sort of learn like quickly learn some networking, because I've always wanted to do that. And that's the kind of approach of like, if I want to learn something and I think it'll make a cool video, then cool. But if it won't make a video, then I guess I don't have a video then.
Yeah.
But
no, I completely agree. The
That's the
best
kind
type of videos
like
are,
best approach.
in my opinion, are where you're actually learning something, right? Because you're getting something else out
Yeah.
of it. But pretty like literally every single one of my videos is like that. It'll just be like
Yeah.
doing something in X days or doing something under certain conditions.
Mm.
That's the best way to sort of learn things, is to just do it in practice. So I 100% agree with you there. And that's an interesting point to say, like, building up an audience is a smart move, not only just because YouTube's fun or whatever, but say you were to go on to release a commercial game, well, you've already got that sort of marketing in place. It's like Muck had one video made on it by Danny, right? And it's already at like 300,000 downloads on Steam. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's at the top of like the popular new games
like it's insane
and stuff. Yeah,
So yeah,
it's definitely really important. I've got I mean, you know that like the tips videos that I'm working on as well. That was the point that Nate Dove was saying, was like building an audience is like sort of paramount.
Oh yeah, 100%.
To like not only making good YouTube videos, but also in the future it will come in like really useful, and stuff like that. But yeah. I also have this is a completely off topic question, but I've just been like staring at your name in like the Discord, and what does Barji like have a meaning, or is it just a random name that you thought sounded cool?
It comes from like an old Xbox gamer tag, to be honest. It's
Right.
like, I don't know. I did have a gaming channel called Barji before this.
Yeah.
That's actually my second channel now, but it's not got any gameplay videos on. But yeah, it was literally just a name that we came up with when playing Rocket League like 4 years ago. Actually, I do remember the story. So my Xbox account got hacked, and like I lost everything, and so I had to make a new account, and I had like the default gamer tag, and we were discussing what I could call myself. I think it was during that Rocket League game that I came up with the name Barji, and yeah, it was just kind of a no-brainer when I made the YouTube channel.
Yeah, fair enough. So, at the moment, because we've talked about like your future plans and everything, do you have any like, are there any projects that you're sort of working on behind the scenes that you, like talk about, or any like ideas for things coming up?
I have no lack of ideas. I have so many ideas, just not enough time. Yeah, I mean, so the game that I did work on in a month, I thought it'd be fun to try and turn it into like an online game, right? So if you don't know what it is, it's basically just like a parkour grappling hook game, and it basically recently a few of my friends started speedrunning the game and got really into it, so it amassed like a little small speedrunning community. So I thought I'll just polish the game up, I'll work on it, and then I'll release it on Steam. And then on top of that, I was thinking, all right, why don't I try and do some more networking? So about a month ago, almost a month ago to the day actually, I decided I'd just start to turn it into like a multiplayer game. And I got to the point where we had guns, we were shooting each other, we were swinging around, it was great. And then I realized, I think the game's going in the wrong direction here, right? So I've now decided to focus more on getting the speedrunning stuff up and running, making some levels that actually look good, and then I'm going to release it for free on Steam in the next few weeks, without the multiplayer, but I do intend to bring that back out. So that'll probably be an upcoming video, which is just sort of like a part 2 to that one, where I release the game basically.
Yeah. I mean, what's the process like releasing something on Steam? Is it like a difficult process, or is it?
It's much more difficult if you want to charge people for it. But no, not really. So, but you have to pay £75 or $100, I think it is, to set up the Steam page. Which I'd actually already done like a year ago, because I had a game that I was working on that I was like convinced I was going to finish, but I didn't end up finishing it. So I had a Steam page there, just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I got it renamed and stuff. But it's one of those things, like the initial setup is kind of annoying because they want tons of images, they want loads of verification on stuff. But once you've got everything set up, it's really simple. Like uploading builds is 2 buttons. It's great. But it's just the initial setup that's a little difficult.
Yeah. Because a lot of people I've spoken to about it, like, I think they're too scared to go into it because they're scared of like the whole like they think you have to like do you have to set up a business?
See, this
for
is the
it?
thing.
Like a legal
This is the
business.
thing, right? There's like this sort of idea. Okay, first of all, do not take any advice from me here, anybody listening. But there is like an ideology within sort of, especially game dev YouTube, that if you don't start a limited company, you're gonna get sued. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's just not the case from most of the time. It could definitely happen, right? But
Legal advice.
yeah,
With
there's like
Barji.
a huge suing culture in America, compared to places like the
Yeah.
UK. So it's a lot more likely that people over there are going to be suing, from what I've read and from what I've spoken to people about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I if you're releasing a free game, everything in the game is yours. That is very important, that you have made everything in the game, right? You've got no
Yeah.
like licensing obligations to your game engine or anything like that. You're 99% of the time going to be fine, from what I know.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't take that advice. Definitely do your own research. But it's like there's certain sort of there is definitely like a ideology that people think, oh, I can't release a game unless I have a business, which it's not true. It just means that you're still gonna have to pay tax and stuff, all that, but you're the one liable. But if all the assets in the game are yours, then the only real thing people could sue you for is just stupid stuff that they would never really do.
You can probably
Yeah, it's probably never going to happen.
Yeah.
And if they sue you
Yeah.
internationally, that's going to be incredibly difficult. They'd spend way more money than it'd be worth. It's such a slim chance of
Yeah.
it happening that, if your game's paid, I'd probably recommend it. Like, but considering the game's free and there's not much incentive for anyone to sue you and everything in the game is yours, I've not got a company, so
Yeah. Ah, fair enough. Because I was also looking into like doing that putting that multiplayer like game on Steam because at the moment I'm using like Photon
Right.
for it in Unity, and like after seeing Danny's video I was like it'd be so much easier to just use the Steam networking stuff.
yeah.
And like I was like so I might put my game on Steam as well, but like I was just like do you need to start a company? I don't know. Speaking to people, they're like I don't know either.
Yeah, it's a
But,
very
yeah.
grey area. There's people like Thomas Brush
Yeah.
who will campaign to the end of the earth that you need a company. There's tons of people in the sort of game dev YouTube space, but when you delve outside of the YouTube space, for whatever reason, the answer like completely shifts. It's insane. I put like a post on Reddit a few months ago, just sort of asking people like from their experience. Obviously, that's not a very good source. But yeah, from like from people's experience on Reddit, they were saying, yeah, you should be all right. From people I've spoken to that have worked in the industry as well, yeah. But it's
No, fair enough.
I think you'll be all right if your game's going for free. But then there's people like Andrew Zizen who released their game for free and they still started a company as well. So it really depends. The only downside really to starting the company is you're going to have to pay somebody to do your taxes, and obviously the initial startup costs and all of the legal stuff. But yeah, it's a weird area.
Yeah, there's not really like much information for like people out there, especially like people, like you said, like small sort of indie devs that are like looking into it, and then they just see all of like the business stuff, and they're like, this is confusing.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I'm definitely not qualified to talk on this, by the way. Anybody watching, I'm kind of just giving my own opinions here, but it's like if you're going to release a game for free on itch.io, right? What's the difference when you release it on Steam for free? Why are you more likely to be sued via Steam? There might be a reason, I don't know, but yeah, it's a weird one. I don't get the sort of. I wish it was different, I wish there wasn't like a sort of looming threat of getting sued. It's a little.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like. I wish like just everyone was like a bit more educational, like the school system over here or something. Like cut out some of like the kind of useless lessons, and like just sort of get some like lesson like actual real world things like starting businesses and taxes and all that
100%.
kind of stuff. But yeah, that's. But now I've gone a bit off topic from game dev, but yeah. I was gonna say, like, what's the sort of, because obviously, I mean, that to like a lot of people, they'd probably find that pretty like difficult to like set up all that stuff. But like, what's been the hardest thing like you've encountered like just in general with like all of your game dev stuff? Like, what's the most difficult thing you've had to do, and like, how did you sort of get over it, or did you
Um,
did you get around it?
hmm. I don't know. For me, art and sound is always like a very difficult thing for me in games. I've made 2D
Mm.
games for a long time, and I just, for some reason, I just cannot make 2D art. Um, but when I started making 3D games, I was much better at it, and I think the reason is because with 2D you kind of have to fake a 3D perspective, right? You're never going to have a character sort of looking
Yeah,
directly at the screen or directly to the right. You kind of have them at like an angle most of the time. So I'm really
yeah,
bad at drawing that perspective. Whereas in 3D, you've kind of got, you
mm.
can look at it in any perspective, and it's kind of like a solid thing, and it's very maths based as well. I
Yeah,
much prefer 3D art. So um, figuring that out, and then music. I'm terrible at making music. So for this game that I'm releasing, I've been paying a friend to sort of make music for it, but I just really want to
yeah,
learn how to do that. I just don't sort of have the time or the effort to do it at the moment.
yeah, yeah. No, that's something I'd love to do is music, because like that's like one of the core bits, and I always forget about it. Um, like when I'm making a game, I finish the game and I'm like, cool, game's done. Oh wait,
Yeah,
audio, that's the thing I need to do. It's like I made this video about like making a game in a day or something like that, and like I finished the game and I was like, cool, there's been 24 hours, got a game, and then like I was like, wait, there's no audio in the game. That's not
yeah. I
complete.
always leave it till the
But
end.
like, yeah, those kind of things, like, yeah. Yeah, I always leave it right till the very end, and then I'm like, maybe I should have done this earlier, but like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's too late now. But yeah. So yeah, yeah, so what's like, so that's obviously like, yeah, something to sort of focus on, like
Yeah,
art and sound and stuff, because I feel like as programmers, I feel like 2D art is a lot more like artistic, and 3D art is, I mean, it's still
yeah.
artistic, but like it's a lot, yeah, like you said, a lot more math based, and we find it like quite a bit easier. But like,
Hmm.
so if that's like your hardest thing, what would be like your like the like easiest thing you've done? Sort of like, what have you found, or what have you found the most fun like to do
Oh,
out
the
of the
most
whole thing?
fun.
Yeah.
Um, programming definitely, but it's, I really enjoy like physics based stuff.
Mm.
So for me, for the longest time, if you search up about like parkour style movement or like Titanfall or Doom style movement
Yeah.
and how to implement it, there is absolutely nothing online
Mm.
about how to do it. And um, I've been like searching on and off for like a few months, right? Just playing around with different projects. I couldn't find anything about how to do it.
Yeah.
Um, and so I kind of just decided I'm going to sit down, I'm going to make a movement controller, and like I'm gonna play these games, write down every feature that they've got, how I think they work, and
Mm.
then go into the code and try and create that, right?
Yeah.
And that is like one of the most fun things, is to sort of try and recreate things.
Yeah.
Um, there's a game called Jumps, and it's really small. It's by another YouTuber.
Oh, by
Um,
Timothy.
yeah, Timothy.
Yeah.
And that was the initial sort of thing. I was like, I could definitely make this. This is a nice movement system.
Yeah.
So I went in, I played the game, and I wrote down every single thing about the movement system. So you move slower horizontally when you're in the air, or um, when you jump, you don't gain any or lose any momentum. You just sort of stay in place as you move through the air. Um, and I wrote down all of these things, went into Unity, and coded up pretty much the exact same movement controller. And once I'd
Yeah.
done that, I was like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
I'll sort of add on it. Um, and yeah, I just love sort of recreating physics-based stuff from games.
Yeah. I feel like that's like
Um,
one of the best ways to learn, is kind of like find something you really like, and then just try and make it how you like imagine it's probably made.
yeah,
Uh,
100%. It's super difficult though.
yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I remember like the first couple versions of like the sort of player controller I use like all the time now were like weird amalgamations of like I think this should do this, and like weird tutorials that I found in like the depths of YouTube, because like I couldn't find like many for like rigid body controllers.
Oh yeah,
They're all
it's
like
so
character
bad.
controllers and stuff. Um, and so it's like just sort of these amalgamations, and you're like, this is awful, but like you learn like so much doing it all and stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like it's really good for like sort of programmer knowledge.
yeah, 100%. It's just annoying that there's not more sort of things out there to help you learn
Yeah,
that sort of stuff. It's really annoying.
yeah. But talking about like programmer knowledge and stuff, like obviously, like you were saying earlier, like you got into game dev from from like doing Fortnite stuff, and
Yeah.
then like and then Blackthorn Prod and stuff. But like, what made you decide to do like programming out of like, instead of doing like art and stuff, or like design, like you're saying that like you like the idea of doing design, but like why did you choose programming, or was it sort of,
Um,
yeah, I don't know.
I do actually I do have an answer for this. So, um, the biggest, there was another drive to sort of start making games on top of just the Fortnite stuff. So obviously I just started like my first computer science sort of course
Mm,
at high school at the time,
yeah,
and so I was like in this class, and we got given like this assessment to do over the course of like a month, and it was
Yeah.
really difficult. I didn't understand anything, and there was a kid in the class, and he was like really good at it all,
yeah,
and I was like, I want to be better than that guy.
yeah,
So I was like, how can I learn programming in a fun way?
yeah,
So I went in, did that course, and just started learning about it. And it was in Visual Basic, which is pretty similar to C Sharp in a way. They're both .NET, but it's a little bit different. And yeah, I ended up sort of finishing that off, and yeah, it was fun.
I hate that like the reason I got into programming is so similar as well. You see someone better than you and like I want to be better than them.
He
And then
fully
he's like,
knows about it as well. Like it's not.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
It's-
like because like mine was like that. I was like he's good at programming. I want to be good at programming now, and so I did it. And then and then I went into like 3D modeling for a bit, and I was like, I'm gonna be a 3D modeler. Realized I'm not artistic. And then when I started my college course, I originally it was all about like 3D art and stuff, and there was meant to be like some programming stuff, and
Yeah.
and I like did a tiny bit of programming. I was like, wait, this is really cool, and also no one else can program, so now I feel even cooler, and so like I sort of like kept doing it and stuff, and like showing people how to program and things, and like
Yeah.
I realized it's really fun to sort of like when you realize the sort of power of like programming in the way of like being able to sort of make like whatever you want
Yeah,
happen, like when you think about
that's so true, and it's especially with like graphics programming, because if you do like hardware programming, I've spoken to a lot of friends about this who are interested in learning like hardware.
it. Yeah,
The issue is that it takes so much more time to get a result out of it. Like if you want to make something, not only do you have to like order the parts and stuff, and then it gets there and you have to construct it, and then
yeah,
you run your code and it doesn't work, so then you have to deconstruct things. Like that is so much less rewarding
yeah,
than typing a single line of code and like a window popping up or something. Like
yeah,
it's like one of the most rewarding types of programming, because you can make a single change and it instantly is impactful on you. You
Yeah.
see it. And
Yeah,
it's definitely rewarding.
it's also really nice because like you'll be like sat there for like hours trying to get something to work, and it's like some stupid little mistake, and you fix it, and then all of a sudden you've got this like game like running, and you're like, huh, like
Yeah.
this is really like really cool, and like you're like, oh, I just want to like make this happen instead. Like if you're an artist, it's like, oh, it's like a pain in the ass to sort of try and like make your game do something else, but like as a programmer you're like, oh, actually what if the clouds rain birds or something, and so you just
Yeah,
like do a few
exactly.
changes and stuff, and it's like just that sort of being able to like bring your ideas like to life like really really quickly and like easily in front of you and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I think one of like the best things that I sort of learned from like my programming teacher before he left was like, when it comes to programming, and like especially with like games and stuff, if you want to do something, like you can do it. You just gotta like try and just break it down like break it down to like the base little bits, so it's not like so like daunting, and then sort of build it up and stuff, and like you can do literally whatever you want to do
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, which is I think one of like the best things about like games, because it's like getting to bring your like you can always bring your dreams to life and then show them to like other people, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like
100%.
and like give them sort of kind of like bring like entertainment to like all these like people, which I feels like one of like the most rewarding things.
I mean, you say that. However, like I it's weird. I don't make games with like an end user in mind. It's really strange, and I've never done it. But
Huh.
because a lot of the time I'm making a game for a video,
Yeah.
or I'm making a game for a challenge to learn something. I'm more doing it for myself, right? And then
Yeah.
obviously I'll put the game out at the end, whatever. But it's like when I made a game called Exhausted. I literally made that game just because I wanted to make a game and finish it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think anyone would play it. But then loads of people started speedrunning it, and it was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it's the same with my game Grapple. Like, I didn't even think that would get many downloads at all. But now it's at like 2,000 or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? You know, people are speedrunning this game. What?
Yeah.
I made it because I wanted to make it. You know.
Yeah.
And it's very strange. I don't know why I don't sort of have that sort of I want people to play my games, because you'd think you would.
Yeah.
I don't know if other game developers do, but well, they definitely do. But yeah, or I don't know. I think I haven't just made a game for that reason yet. Like if I was
Yeah.
making a commercial game, that'd be a major concern. But just because a lot of the time I'm making a game for a video, or just because I want to learn something, I just
Yeah.
don't sort of think about that.
Yeah. I guess my like I guess it's probably because like whenever I do mine, like I tend to make them because I'm like my mates like playing my game, so I'm like, oh, I'll make this for them because like they were chatting about it the other day, like awesome speed running game where you can do this and this and this. So I'm like, I can make that for you, don't you worry, or something. Or
Yeah.
like recreating a game that they're like, it's too much money. It's like, don't worry, I can make it, and I can get a cool video out of it. But yeah, I tend to usually do it for like my mates and stuff and have them in mind. So I guess that's kind of where I get the sort of end user stuff from.
I mean, that I've kind of had some of that in this. Like now that I'm working on Grapple again, I do have some of that because I've seen people play it, and the main reason I started it up again is because people started speedrunning it. Like,
Yeah,
a big concern is now building it up for the speedrunners, because there was 9 levels in the game, right?
yeah,
And out of the 9, the second level was the most played by far. Like it wasn't even close. That was the level that people would sit on and grind to get the highest score on.
yeah.
And the reason for it is because there was a shortcut, right?
Mm.
And it was basically you could either go around this long track, or you could turn directly to the right, grapple yourself up, and bounce on a mushroom and get into the like finish line.
Yeah,
And that like sort of shortcut alone, people like built upon it. They found different strategies. They found the fastest way to possibly do it
yeah,
until it got to the point where they just couldn't beat themselves anymore. And none of the other levels had a shortcut like that. So that sort of made me think, right, well, if I make all the levels like that, then it's going to be a much more enticing game.
yeah. No, I think it's definitely like, I feel like it's really good. Like once you've put something out, like getting sort of to see everyone else. I mean, just playtesting in general and stuff, like getting to see what people think of it and like things like that, because they'll do things that you never really realize. Like when you put out the game, it was like, I imagine you probably were like, oh, all of these levels are pretty fun, and then when you see everyone staying on level 2 because of like that one feature, and like, huh, I didn't even really think that
Yeah, exactly.
that would like get people to do that, and you get to see all the fun ways that they can break your game that you never realized would happen either, as well.
Yeah, that is. I've had to do so much playtesting because of that. Like, they found within like 3 days so many bugs that I just didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
So I brought them on the playtesting team now.
I mean, that's something that I found out like with all of my submissions for like uni and stuff, is like you make the game and then you like give it out to everyone without like, if you haven't playtested it, you give it out to everyone, and within like the first 5 minutes there's like already like 20 bugs that you're like, how did you even like get to this? I didn't even know this was like possible and stuff.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, or even just like people not understanding really the like in your head you sort of when you program the game you're like, well it's obvious that like you do this to get this or whatever, but most
Yeah.
people will like never really even think about it until
Yeah.
you like show them directly.
It's like when it must have been like 2 days before Muck was due to come out,
Mm.
and Danny had just pushed an update, right? And he was like, try and break it. And I loaded up the game, got in, and literally within the first 2 minutes, I was like, yeah, I found a duplication glitch. And it's like it's so frustrating when that happens. Like you've worked on
Yeah,
something and then somebody just it's because when people are looking for bugs, they find them.
yeah,
It's I don't know how, because if I was looking for a bug in my own game, I wouldn't find it
yeah,
because you sort of learn to play it in a certain way.
yeah,
But
yeah,
when you give it to a fresh set of eyes, they just kind of do so many things to
yeah,
break the game, as to say.
yeah. I definitely think it's like one of the most important things when like putting a game out is like getting like a load of sort of people to see like what they can do to break it and
Hmm.
stuff, or like just how they would play it like in general and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm. Interesting. I guess how did you get started with game development?
So I mean, mine was not not as eventful as mine wasn't as eventful as spending
Fortnite.
loads of money on Fortnite.
Yeah.
Um, mine was more of in primary school. So like way back, I always like I got my first sort of game console and like I loved playing it, and I was always like I want to make something like this in the future, but I had no clue how.
Yeah.
And then we had an IT lesson where we had this weird program. I don't know if you would have like ever used it, but like it's it's like this little turtle, and you can type in like these like little commands like move forward 10, turn right, turn left, move back, and like all this like weird
Right.
stuff, and it would like draw like little shapes as it goes around.
Right. Right.
Um, and I was like, this is really cool. This must be what programming is. Um, and then I discovered Scratch, the best game engine, and like
100%.
started making like just simple games where like you catch like falling apples or something like that. And then in year seven, so first year of secondary, there was they had this weird program. I think it's called like Coda or something, and it was
Oh
this
yeah.
really yeah, it was this really weird like game maker, and I sort of spent like ages using that and like watching tutorials on how to make like cool things in it. And I would come in and show people like, oh yeah, look, I've made this like small RPG, and like you can get a key so you can go over a bridge and stuff like that. And everyone was like, wow. Um, and then, so I took computing, did programming in that, and then our GCSEs got like cancelled basically because someone decided to leak everything on the exam board. So we kind of sort of abandoned all of our programming projects because there was no point anymore,
Right.
which was kind of annoying. And then that's when I got into 3D art, and then yeah, and then I went to college, realized 3D art isn't fun, started programming again, and was like, I'm gonna do game dev because I was watching loads of people, and it was only recently when everyone was blowing up. So like, I was watching you, um, I was watching Reese, Polymars, Good Guess, like all those people, obviously like Danny and Brackies and like the bigger ones as
Hmm.
well. And was like, this looks fun, and I want to get to know these people and like like do projects with other game devs and sort of like
Yeah.
branch out and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna try doing YouTube as well, and
I'll
sort
tell
of
you something though.
like
Like people, I've had so many people say like DM me and be like, "How do you know Danny?" or "How
yeah,
did you get to know Polymars and stuff?" But like, even when I was at like 100 subscribers, right?
mm,
The th- the way to do things, like if you genuinely like are interested in getting to know these people because they're cool, right? Obviously,
mm,
if you just want to get a collab out of it, then it's not really worth it. But I would just sort of reach out to these people and just try to have conversations with them because we evidently have very similar interests.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was people asking this in my Discord server yesterday about how I got to know so many people, and literally just reach out to people, like, as long as you're not being weird with them and stuff, like, most people are happy to respond and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And getting to know people through that is definitely the best way. But yeah, there's so many people that sort of reach out with collabs in mind, or they're trying to get something, and that's definitely not the strategy.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
that was definitely my strat to begin with. I was like, message them because like they'll only be interested if there's a collab, but also I have like 2 subscribers, so it doesn't like have anything for them. But then I
Yeah.
realized like you just gotta message them, like just be like, hey, you do game dev, me too, and sort of like
Yeah, just sort of like being interested. That's the main thing.
yeah, because I mean, I spoke for a while with Mark about it a little, about like about talking to people and how it's like kind of terrifying to begin with and stuff, and we spoke a lot about it at like the end of the last devcast, but like it's sort of you just go for it because everyone's actually really nice and
Oh yeah.
not kind
No
of
one's-
the scary big person that
Yeah,
you think in your
yeah.
head.
Yeah, there's like people think that they're just gonna kind of get rejected or whatever, but I don't know. There's no harm in reaching out,
Yeah.
and 90% of the time you'll get a response. It's like I must have had 100 subscribers when I first started speaking to a lot of people, like Polymars, Ben Bonk, those type of guys,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's like I try to do the same for people now. It's a really good community, so a lot of the time
Yeah.
you are gonna get a response back.
Yeah. I think the worst thing to do is like when you're doing it, just sort of like like panicking that these people are like because they are so much bigger or something in your head, like, oh no, they don't want time for me.
Right, yeah.
They're gonna like they're these big people on YouTube. They're big scary like YouTube people, and like because I remember like I messaged Danny at one point, and I don't know why, but I decided when I like first started, he was the best person to message when I had like 0 subs, and I remember like I was like awful at talking, like talking to people, and like I mean even now I'm not the best at it because it's still like sort of like new to me, like talking to like loads of like random people, but like some of the messages I DM'd him, like, oh, hey, would you like to do this thing? Oh wait,
Yeah.
like don't worry, because you're probably really busy. Don't do it. And it's like, why was I why was I like that? So he's got all these like random weird messages from me being like, hi, yeah, do you wanna work on this? Oh, you're probably busy. Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna go. It's like really
Oh,
awkward
God.
and horrible,
Oh god.
and it's just really really bad. And I'm just like, please never look at those.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's like you just gotta like go for it. But
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, the best way to sort of like find collaborations and friends within the community is to definitely look at people sort of around your size or slightly bigger.
Yeah.
Because if you are reaching out to like, if I was to reach out to sort of Sam Hogan and be like, yo, let's do a collab, right? All it looks like is I'm trying to get something out of him, right?
Yeah.
Which, if that's your intention, then there's no point, right? It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a weird one. But
Yeah.
a lot of the time people are perfectly reasonable and want to speak to you and stuff.
Yeah. I I love your community because I asked them because obviously I was saying I lost my thing of like my questions, so I was like, hey, do you guys have any questions to like ask Barji? And like all of the people are like, how is he? How to make game? But like that's something that I love because like I feel like I mean a lot of people are like really active with their community, but I found like your Discord, it's like I don't know what it is, but like your Discord seems to be like a lot more active than a lot of the other game devs I'm in. So like, is there like, do you have like a secret to do to like keeping the community active, or is it just kind of cool. Like it's just kind of happened.
This isn't an accusation, but I guess just not having a god complex. Like, you're on the same level as all these people. Are, you know, if you treat people like friends, then it's just a much nicer experience for everyone. Like, I don't know. I try and be nice to as many people as I can. It's like, I don't know. I like keeping the community as nice as possible. And if there's any confrontations, I try to resolve them. It's like, earlier on, there was a guy in the general chat, and he was just blatantly being rude to somebody.
Oh, yeah, no, I saw about that.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I don't know. If you treat people like friends, then it's a lot nicer for them, and it's a lot nicer for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally it.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point. Like, there's a lot of sort of dev things that you're in, like, again, not accusing anyone, but like there's a lot of dev things where like you'll be in there and they'll never really speak to their community, and it like people will speak to them and they're like they just don't really have the time, and they're sort of like no but like it's definitely like I feel like it's definitely like good to be really active with them and like talking all the time and almost treating your like, I guess in a way like treating your like community as like just like everyone's like your friend and stuff, and like not like they're just you shouldn't think of them, I guess, as like, oh, these are my fans. They're like,
they're your friends. I hate that so much.
Yeah,
it's like, because I don't really do that to other sort of YouTube channels. Like, there's not any massive YouTube channels where I'm like active, that aren't already my friends, really.
Yeah,
but it's where I hate that sort of the word fan. Obviously, it's definitely a thing, but because it is just like people. I feel like people connect a lot better like when you're like, oh, all right, mate, like I'll answer your questions and stuff like that, and like when you're a lot more like on the level, because just when you're not being a robot, basically.
Because like everyone kind of like, I think as a lot, I mean, me included, there's a lot of people that are like, because of people like that, like see everyone as this like, oh, they're higher than us, like on YouTube, like they're not gonna speak to us, they're not bothered with us. Actually, we're just like a sort of a statistic, but like getting actually like sort of down, like talking with like your community and like organizing things and just being stupid and just cool and stuff like that, like it definitely like helps a lot.
100%.
And like you were saying about like just like about asking people, like don't just ask people for collabs and stuff, like all that sort of stuff. It's like, again, I feel like if they've got that sort of like idea of like, oh, I'm better than them because they're just my fans, like then they're less likely to do something like that. But like if you're more approachable and stuff, like people are more likely to sort of want to work with you and stuff.
Yeah, you shouldn't really judge people on the amount of subscribers they have rather than them as a person, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because you can kind of gauge, like, just with the amount they, like, interact with everyone, just, like, whether they're, like, they'll be, like, nice to work with and stuff. Because that's why I've reached out to, like, quite a few people, and, like, everyone that I've, like, reached out to and stuff, they're sort of, like, they're way bigger than me. Like you, Mark, Polymars, Reese, Akosa, like all those kind of people. Like you guys are all like much bigger than me, but like it's like you guys are all like chill, and like you're not like, oh, you have to at least have a couple thousand subs so that like it's worth it or something. You're like, oh yeah, no, sure, I like that, because like
you've got to remember though, we were all in that situation at one point where
exactly,
we wanted to get people to come and on our podcasts or whatever, like, so it's once again just a thing of being nice to the community, right? It's like, I don't know.
Talking about like podcasts and stuff, how do you know what I'm gonna ask? How's DevDump, like, what's going on with that at the moment?
It'll be back within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
If you want to blame someone, you can blame Good Guess.
Has he not been around?
No, I don't want to get too deep into it really, but it's very hard in the week to find an hour where everyone can record. So
Yeah,
we've
no, that's
kind of
fair.
come up with a new plan, and we're going to be recording one every 2 weeks, and then in the alternating weeks between them, we're going to use that for planning.
Yeah,
And try and get some guests on as well. So
yeah,
yeah, it's been about 2 months, I think, but it's definitely coming back. But it's a side project for all of us. So it's
yeah,
Reese has had his Kickstarter. I've had exams.
yeah,
Polymars has been finishing up with high school, and there's so much been going on.
yeah.
So
Because I was gonna say
it's-
like you all seem like really busy at the moment and stuff because of like just end of
Yeah, well,
school years and
we
like
all
everything
agreed
going on.
to we all agreed to take a break for a few weeks because there was
Yeah.
so much going on. But
Yeah.
then it's just after that it was very hard to get back into the regular thing. So
Yeah, oh,
I'll
that's
definitely be back soon.
Yeah. Because I mean, I think like, because you guys are probably like one of the only real like, I can't think of another like sort of dev podcast out there.
There's only
really.
the Mrs. one really that's a
Oh yeah, yeah.
competitor, I guess you could say. It's not really a
Yeah.
competition.
Because it's like I think a lot of people like sort of, if they wanted to listen to a podcast about game dev, it's like Dev Dump basically, yeah, or the Mrs. one.
Well, we try and keep it as sort of friendly as possible. We don't want it to be like a very rigid structure or anything. We want it to feel
Yeah.
more like a conversation. So,
Yeah.
It's definitely different.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like that's what I'm trying to do with this one, but like, I'm still getting used to the whole, to the whole chatting about stuff with people, and like,
Yeah.
it turns out it's pretty taxing. Like trying to like when you're not used to it, trying to come up with like conversation starters like on the spot.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I completely get you. The other thing is as well with you interviewing this like different people every time, right?
Yeah,
If they're asking you questions, then you're going to end up explaining the same thing over and over and over again.
yeah, yeah,
Whereas with ours, we can kind of just pick a topic and talk about that.
yeah.
So it's definitely more difficult being in
Yeah.
your situation.
Because that's one thing that I like slightly regret about doing this is like the fact that I don't sort of, because I'm talking to so many different people, I want to ask them like questions about them, and like
You're right, yeah.
which
Well, that's what you want to do. You want it to
Yeah.
be specific to the person on.
Yeah, exactly. But then like I also feel like a lot of times people may see it like, oh, you're asking the same question a lot, like the what's it called?
Well,
Like,
if it's a
like,
different answer, it doesn't matter if it's the same question.
Yeah,
It's-
that's true. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like, do I try and structure it better, or do you try and like, do you just go with what's working at the moment and stuff, which is kind of what I'm trying to do. But no, yeah,
Interesting.
it is nice like reaching out to all these people though, and like sort of meeting new people and like speaking to them about like what they do and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I actually started a very similar thing. So, it was back in. Oh, it is actually how I met Polymars. So, Tantan made a video where he did like it was like a Mrs.'s rip-off where he did like a 5 game developers 1 art pack kind of
Yeah.
thing. It was really really good video. It's like one of my favorite game dev videos of all time.
Yeah.
But yeah, in that, me, Polymars, Yannick, and Tantan, and then one other developer. Oh, I can't remember who they are. I've not really spoken to them before. I'm gonna have to search this up now. Hang on a minute. Tantan 5 developers. Cud Zero. So we all made a game for that, but we didn't interact really with each other. And then after that, I'd started my own. Oh, hello.
Sorry, I think my internet decided it wanted to cut out.
Oh, how long have I been silent for?
No, I just I heard you were talking about the video and you're trying to figure out who the other dev was.
Oh, I found out it's Cud Zero.
Okay.
And we did that thing, and we didn't really speak to each other at all. But then I started my own little like indie dev podcast, and I invited Polymars on. I was like, "Yo, let's get on." And from there, that's when we went onto the Brackies thing. But the only reason that didn't come out is because his internet is so goddamn bad that it just lagged the whole time, and there was like a
Yeah.
5-second delay. So
Oh my god.
it all broke down. So that is why
Yeah.
it never saw the light of day for anyone. I'm kind of glad, but yeah, would have been a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like I feel like it's quite a nice way to like sort of meet people doing like a little podcasty thing, because it's like you get to just chat to them. Like
Yeah.
you don't have like a time constraint or like some scripted video or anything like that. It's just sit down, have a chat, go wherever the conversation goes, or doesn't go if you decide you want to lose your question document.
100%.
But yeah, but I do have like one question though, which
So
I was asking like which I asked Mark earlier was like what if you could theoretically go back in time to like your sort of past self and sort of stuff, what would like be your biggest tip like you would give? I mean in
How far
general,
back
but
can I
also
go?
you can go far as far back as you want. You can go back Fortnite days, or you can go back to when you were like a child. Whatever you like.
Okay. I'd go back to year 7, so when I was 11 years old, and I would say start making games now,
Yeah.
because even though I started when I was 15, I still feel like that was like pretty late. I could have started way before then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There was times I tried to make games back then, but I didn't stick through it. So I'd just be like, "Yo, do it, stick with it. Promise you it'll benefit you."
Yeah.
So that's what.
Yeah, no. I definitely think it is like yeah, it's definitely something is like I regret not starting earlier and like sticking to it, because like I was just like programming hard. I'm not going to be able to make a game or something. I wish I discovered like things like game engines earlier, like Unity and
Yeah.
stuff, because I remember in year 7, year 8, after all the coding stuff, and I was doing some basic stuff, like I was just making a few like text adventures and stuff, which I mean is a good place to start, but I like it wasn't even until like college, like first second year, that I discovered game engines, and I wish I'd discovered them earlier, because you see all these people like nowadays sort of getting into it and stuff, and it's kind of like I guess I almost feel like when old people like see all the young kids with like their iPads and they're like 3 years old and they know how to use it all and stuff. It's like
Yeah.
you see all these people that are like 12, 13, and they're like masters of like Unity or like whatever like game engine they use, and you're like, what? How?
Yeah, exactly.
But it is nice to see though, because I mean, it's like
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's
it
great.
grows the community and stuff. And that's something like you were saying like a while ago about like the whole everything blowing up recently. It's really nice like seeing the community go from sort of being quite small, and it's like sort of reserved for either really big devs and stuff, or it's reserved for like you never really hear about it unless it's like a bigger studio kind of thing, or like
Right,
some like bigger indie release. But like the whole game dev scene like blowing up and things, I think that's like it's gonna help inspire like a lot more people to get into it. Like I mean, like it did with me, it inspired me to get into it a bit more and stuff, which is gonna be like good for like the whole industry. Oh, my voice is going.
Yeah, it's.
But yeah.
I definitely agree with you.
Oh my god, is that it? Did you just send me a
Oh yeah,
is
it's
that someone
been,
saying muck?
bro. I've gotten so many while we've been recording this.
Bruh.
People saying muck.
Oh my god. Everyone's just mucking around.
Mucking
Are you-
around.
Are you Danny's friend, Muck?
Had
I
to
think
hit
that's
with the
my
muck.
favorite one. I mean, yeah, that's I mean that's probably the best way to reply to it. If you don't want to get into it, just muck. Just stop mucking around.
There's no good answers to that question.
No, I mean there's not really. Oh, well done on the stream yesterday as well. that went very well.
Oh yeah, I had a really good stream. So there was some kid and he was streaming Muck like literally like 5 minutes after the video came out. He had
Yeah.
100 viewers, and I was like, "What? Who is this guy?" So I went on his channel. He sat there with like 350 subscribers. I'm like, "Bruh, look, okay, move over, to having that #1 spot." So, yeah, I originally Danny was gonna come on the stream, but he was way too busy, I think, with the
Yeah.
release and stuff. So I ended up getting Reese on, and
Mm.
we did get there. We got to the 100 viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Yeah. No, it did really well.
yeah,
The
it
little
did.
muck trains.
Yeah, I think that stream alone got me like 200 subscribers. It was really good.
Oh, fair enough.
Um, so
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I saw that stream and I was like, I should stream muck, and I was like, I will, especially whilst like you're streaming, so I will never ever get that many views. I don't have the platform for it.
yeah, I definitely monopolized it a little bit on
Yeah.
YouTube at least.
It's funny because like the other day I messaged Danny actually. Well, I didn't message Danny because he has his DMs turned off, but like I messaged someone through someone I spoke to him to ask if he was like able to if he wanted to do do this at some point, and also if he wanted to do like a couple of like voice lines for that tips video. And they were like, he replied and he was like, I'd love to, but like I'm really really busy. And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough, he's a busy guy. And then he released that video and I was like, oh my god, he really was like really
Yeah,
busy.
He's very busy.
Yeah, he's a busy guy.
It's insane though how like he has a very good work ethic considering like how big he is. Like
Yeah.
we would be playtesting, and then I remember once he just pinged the server at like 1 a.m. and was like, "Yo, anybody quickly able to test this?" He's grinding before release.
Yeah.
Definitely committed. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the work ethic I wish I have, because it's like I'd love to just stay up ridiculously late working, because I mean that's what I used to do. That's the reason this channel's called Not Somnus, because like that's what I used to do. But like
Oh.
it's I can't do it anymore. My body doesn't allow it.
I end up like getting really tired around 11, but then I'll like stay up for some reason, and then at like 1 a.m. I'm like, right, it's time to work now. I'm so motivated to work on stuff. And then
Yeah.
it's like last night I was working until like 4 a.m. and then I went to sleep and woke up at midday. It's like I just fixed my sleep schedule, and now I always
Yeah.
just get like bursts of motivation when I'm lying in bed.
No, yeah, same. I like lying in bed and stuff is like where I get a lot of my like stuff, and I get into bed and I'm thinking about it and like, oh, I just get up and do that one thing, and then like 4 hours later I'm like, the sun's coming up. I should probably go to bed and stuff like that. But like, yeah, that's kind of. I feel like an old man at the moment though, because I'm getting tired at around like 9, going to bed at like 10, and then I'm like
Man, I
waking up
wish.
at like I don't know, like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm turning into an old man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not living up to the North Somnus name anymore, because it means what is it? It means I think it's like Latin for like no sleep or something like that.
Right.
Which I thought was kind of cool, and also like null being the programmer, like funny
It's
programmer
clever.
term.
Clever name.
But yeah, but how did you? Oh, that's a question. How did you like come up with like your logo and stuff?
I've had way too many logos. So I started my channel like a year ago, and I've had like 15 logos.
Oh my god,
Jesus.
Jesus.
So originally it was, what was the first one? It was like a weird bee,
Right.
like just a bee. It was terrible, and then it was like some DNA strand. You can see that in Tantan's thumbnail actually. Then it was an atom.
Mm.
Then it was like this logo, but kind of worse. I can send a picture of it quickly. I actually think I can send most of them. So that was like the DNA strand.
Oh my god.
That was
You
like
kinda
the
look like-
atom.
You look, bruh. Yeah, it's definitely changed a lot. The DNA one's given me like really like what's it like some sort of like pharmaceutical company
Oh yeah,
kind of vibes.
Then I made that one.
Yeah.
Then it was this one. And then that one wasn't centered and I wanted to spin it and stuff. So I had to recreate it, but then I changed the colors because it looked like not saturated. And then we got there. So
Oh. I was gonna say what's the difference between that one and your one now, but yeah, okay, I can see it like side by side.
mhm.
Yeah, I've been trying to like redesign sort of my thing, and I was like, I am not artistic in the slightest. I'm gonna message someone on Fiverr to do it, which wasn't the best idea
No.
because um, I asked them, I was like, hi, I want this for like a YouTube thing and for like social media and stuff, and like I want it to just be like a logo and also
Right.
like implement the whole like no sleep thing, blah blah. And he was like, okay, cool. Here's what I've come up with, and it was just text with like some brackets around it. And I was like, could you do could you like I kind of like the colors in this one, but like it's not. Could you change it? And he's like, oh yeah, yeah. And so he like sent me basically the exact same, but in the O, he made it so like the O was made of like, like the greater than and like the less
Oh,
than
right.
things. He just like made an O out of those, and I was like, you know what? I guess I'll have to. I guess I'll make it myself. But yeah,
Definitely.
but yeah, it's like I don't know. It's coming up with like branding. It's
I
probably the
mean, yeah,
hardest thing of the whole YouTube thing.
mine doesn't have a meaning. It's more like just a cool design I made, but it was it was supposed to be like an RGB kind of thing.
Yeah,
That's like the relevance, but it's more just kind of turned into a. It's so integrated with my channel now that I feel like changing it is just wrong. I actually
yeah.
did make another logo to test out, but it just didn't work.
Yeah. It's
So
cool, but like I feel like it's almost like a little bit too like complex kind of thing
yeah,
or
it just
something.
doesn't suit the sort of stuff I make as well.
Yeah. No, that's fair. But yeah, um,
Hmm.
I don't really have any more questions.
All right.
But yeah, it's been really wonderful talking to you. It's
Yeah,
been
man. You
kind of
too. Thanks for having me on.
yeah. I mean, it's been a little bit all over the place. It's been a little game dev, a little business, a little
Oh
bit
yeah,
just
remember not to take my advice on Steam pages. I rambled for way too long on that.
yeah, a little bit of just trying to find documents and things.
Yeah.
But no, but it's been really wonderful talking to you, and yeah, hopefully I'll get to talk with you and work with you again in the
Yes,
future.
sir.
But yeah,
Thank you.
but I'll see you later. And to everyone else watching, you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow Barji on Twitter. Subscribe to his YouTube, obviously. I'll have all the
Yes, do
links
do
for
that.
all of that below. Um, yeah, all the links to everything will be below. I'm also starting up my Discord now, where I'll be hosting these devcasts actually like on a little stage. So if you wanted to come along, ask
Ooh, that's
questions
interesting.
and stuff, you can join there. Um, and yeah, I'll see you guys all in the next one. So goodbye.
Bye, guys.